Government corruption has never been more prevalent or caused more harm. It's why extremism is on the rise. It's why the financial gap between the haves and have-nots has never been wider. And it's why our planet is at risk of an extinction level tragedy. That's why I need your help to keep exposing the truth about the rot on both sides of the aisle. Become a supporter or a friend of the show today by clicking on the coffee link in the description box below. Friends of the show join me on a Zoom hangout once a month, and you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I can get to know you better. But the most important reason to help is to keep the show alive. Together, we can and will save our country and our planet. Thanks in advance and enjoy the show. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the show. So Biden's approval numbers are abysmal, and this is across the political spectrum and in every age range. So here's the deal. Here's why listening to centrists and never Trump Republicans is dangerous for our country and dangerous for the survival of our democracy. A New York Times Siena College poll that was conducted between July 5th and the 7th revealed that 64% of Democratic voters, Democrats, prefer a different candidate in 2024. Only 24% said that Biden should be the next nominee. Again, that's among Democratic voters, and younger voters have the most negative view of Biden. 94% of Democrats under 30 years old said that they want a different 2024 candidate. And Biden's age was the number one reason cited, but job performance was right behind that at 32%. When asked in general if they disapprove or approve of his overall performance, more than 2/3 of the respondents said that they disapprove. Over and over again, voters noted that the economy and inflation were their number one priority. It was totally top of mind. And of white working class voters, meaning those without a college degree, Biden's approval rating was only 20%. That is pathetic. We all know the Republicans do nothing for the working class. Yet white working class voters have fled to the Republican Party. In regard to the economy, people of working age, meaning people between the ages of 18 and 64, think the economy is horrendous. Only 6% said that the economy was good or excellent. 93% gave it a poor or fair rating. And then most important, when they were asked if the country was on the right track, only 27% of Democrats said yes. And when they broke it down by gender, it was pretty revealing. 39% of Democratic men answered affirmatively, which is still low, but it's much better than women. Only 20% of Democratic women agreed. That is stunning. Considering how many suburban female voters helped to pull Biden across the finish line, and only 20% of women said, yeah, we're doing the right thing. We're going the right direction. Then the poll also revealed some really bad news for Democrats in general, because abortion was the number one issue for only 5% of the voters polled. And when they broke it down based on gender, I was pretty pissed. It was pretty frustrating. Only 1% of men say it's their top issue, whereas 9% of women agreed. So, if you extrapolate, 9% out across America, there's a lot of pissed off women. On top of that, only 10% of voters ranked gun policies and gun violence as their number one issue. If Democrats are hoping that these two issues are going to save them in the midterms, they were woefully mistaken. There was a wide disparity among voters regarding the gun issue between white voters versus minorities. So among Black and Hispanic voters, gun violence ranked almost as high as inflation and the cost of living. So that is maybe one small positive out of this whole poll. And the New York Times went out and they spoke with several of the voters. And they were mostly Democrat, but they also spoke with a Republican and an independent who had crossed party lines. They had voted for Biden in 2020. The through line in all of these conversations was that Biden isn't doing enough to help Americans. That's it. Overall, voters were just frustrated by his fecklessness. So the next time you hear someone blame the far left progressives like me, remind them that progressives are the only ones trying to make more happen for Americans. We're the only ones pushing for Biden to be more bold, to be aggressive, to do more. It's the centrists and it's the anti-Trump right that keeps trying to blame progressives for Biden doing too much, which is completely laughable. When you have voters all over the country saying, no, they need to do more. No one's out there complaining that Biden has done too much. And no, we're not in a state of inflation because Biden did too much. That is a crock of shit. It's a ridiculous notion and a proven lie. Trump did too much for corporations. The Fed did too much for corporations while allowing average citizens a couple of pathetic, measly checks that probably didn't even cover their rent for 1 month. But in general, the economy is where it's at due to a confluence of factors, not just one thing. There is a major issue regarding supply chains. We have failures in supply chains due to our reliance on foreign goods and foreign parts. You couple that with increased demand now that the lockdowns are over. And then the Fed is planning to go send us to a hell-like landscape by forcing a protracted recession and a bottoming out of the real estate market and the labor market because they're idiots. And because when you're a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. They have no other solutions. The one silver lining possibly to Republicans winning in November is that they're not going to be able to turn the economy around either, because they're going to use this same toolkit. And then voters will see them for the liars and the power-hungry fools that they are. That is the only plus side to them winning in November. It appears that Democrats are just screwed. You know, I don't know if Biden's approval rating or lack thereof is going to translate down ballot. There is some indication that voters are separating the two, that voters are more approving or more willing to vote down ballot for Democrats than for Biden. But there were some people that the news publication talked with who said, yeah, I voted for Biden in 2020, but I'm not voting for Democrats in the midterms, and I'm not voting for a Democrat in 2024 because this is a nightmare. This is a mess. I can't pay my bills. And they're blaming the people in charge. So, guys, it's not looking good. I'm hoping that abortion will become a bigger issue with more people. But, you know, when you can't put food on the table, it takes away your interest from other things, like whether or not a woman in another state can get an abortion. I'm just keeping it real. Anyway, guys, as I hear more, I will let you know. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.